Hello, my name is Stone Oak and this is me in 1991 playing with my Amiga 500. I was 17 years old at that time, and I also started working in a company, a local company, as a trainee. And they were a company with they're manufacturing PCBs and soldering and development and repair of products and stuff like this. So anyway, maybe a year into that job, I noticed that they threw out the old CRT monitors. And that was these types. This was IBM 5151, and the computer is 5150. And I asked them, could I just bring one of these back home because I want to test it on my Amiga 500. And I said, yeah, well, it's trash. It's what do you want to do with this crap? It's a single color, it's a green monochrome. But I was curious. I never had any PCs back in the 80s. It was only until 1996 or 7, I believe, that I got my own PC. So I thought I will experiment with this. Of course, I couldn't connect it to the Amiga because the Amiga had a 23-pin RGB connector, I think. I believe it has the same signal. And I probably had some kind of 9-pin adapter or something like this. I'm not really sure. But this is the connector on the IBM. So there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins. And if you take a look at the pinout and then also the coloring. So these two are these two, and that has to be 1 and 2, so that is the ground and the ground. And then there are 4 down here, so that will be these 4, and that's 6, 7, 8, 9, so that will be intensity, monochrome, horizontal, and vertical sync. I can't really remember what happened, but I couldn't manage to get any image from the Amiga 500. I'm pretty sure I had the pinout in the Amiga 500 manual, maybe. But anyway, I kind of put that monitor on the attic, and I thought, well, maybe one day I can get some old PC that I can try it out. And the funny thing about this IBM monitor is that when you apply power to it, it doesn't really indicate any power light. And also, there is no degaussing, and there is no static electricity going on. So you basically apply power to it and nothing happens. You actually need a signal to make the screen actually show something and even start to make static noises and all of this. So this monitor was put in the attic, and I believe in 1998, many years later, my father asked me about it and asked, are you going to keep this monitor, or are you going to throw it, or what's going to happen to it? And I can't remember what happened, but I believe I said, well, I can never connect it. I don't know. It's really old. I think I told him you can just throw it. So that's what I thought he did. I never cared thinking about it after 1998. And it was also hidden behind a chimney. So it's not something you would see when you go up in our attic. I was been up there like thousands of times, but of course the monitor was hidden behind the chimney, so I couldn't really, find it, and it's really dark up there also. And then, 26 years later, I was watching one of my favorite YouTube channels, which is this guy from Norway, Arctic Retro, and he posted a video about this thing. And it says mystery 9-inch monitor. Does it work? What is it for? Can this be used for something, and does it even work? So, of course, this didn't click anything when I saw it. I just, I do follow this guy, and I just watch all his videos, and I didn't think much about it. It was maybe 70% into the movie, his video. He said, well, I don't have a computer to test it with, because this type of monitor is not a VGA, so it's not even EGA, it's like MDA, it's a really old Hercules type of graphics card that you need for it. And I don't have that, and he also didn't have any old monitor. But then he said something that was really, I didn't know. And he connected it to a Commodore 128. And, well, I never had a Commodore 128. None of my friends had it, and it was, pretty not a machine that you could see a lot in Norway. Maybe. At least I didn't see it, and I never played with it, so... and back in... I think it was during the recording of my Commodore C64 SID project, the SOASC C64 SID archive recordings, and we had a PHP BB forum, and I wrote down some lines here. So one of the people one of the users, we started communicating, and then he said, well, I have some stuff. Maybe you want to buy it or something. He was getting rid of some extra stuff that he had lying around, and one of these items were actually a Commodore 128 PAL. This guy was from Denmark, so I bought this together with a lot of other stuff. He said that was untested. He had nothing else but the Commodore 128, so I bought it for 350 Danish kroner back in 2007. It didn't have anything with it, so this is the serial number, and this is the motherboard. And of course, I already talked about this IBM 5151. And my Commodore 128 was, arrived like this. There was no power, no nothing. And also it has a different power connector. So I basically just put it in my storage in 2007, and maybe 7 years later, I started thinking, well, maybe I should test it. I paid for it, and I'm curious about what the 128 could do. So, since I didn't have the power, I basically had to make my own. So I put these together. This is a DC power and then an AC power, and I merged everything together. And I created this Molex connector. And there's another picture of that. And then maybe there's another one. Yeah, this is just the back side. And I basically open up the 128, and I did some modification, because this is the original power socket, which is like a square socket. And this is my Molex 4-pin power, so I send through the 9-volt and the 5-volt, I guess. And I power it on, and it was actually working. And I put it back on stock in 2014 and didn't think much about it. But then I saw this video, Arctic Retro, and he mentioned that the Commodore 128 actually have, so this is my machine, so it has like this cassette port and then this other cartridge port, and then there's a serial, a video, and some not used one, composite, no RF, I mean, and this is the user port, and of course the RGB connector was there. So I thought I would buy this online. So this is the original 4-pin that goes into the 128, and this is the other end, which is a round pin, and then I can use the Commodore 64 power supply and just connect it directly. So here you can see the power input. But before I plugged it on, of course, I removed my old modification, so I took out all this junk, and yeah, I just removed it from here, right? And this is how it was looking for 10 years, and of course it booted up, so it's all fine. But then I suddenly started thinking about this video on YouTube, and I thought, well, I did have like one of these monitors way back in time, but my father had thrown it. So I went back into the attic, and I actually found the monitor behind the chimney. And yeah, this is the actual one. And as you can see, there are bird shit, because some birds have been flying around up there. And still, I wouldn't know if this was actually working, but now I had an actual machine to test it with. This is just an happy accident that I actually found this video on YouTube. Of course, he didn't test with IBM. He tested some other mystery monitor, but he gave me a clue, because this monitor he had has also 9-pin D-sub, which is the same as this one. So I thought, well, could this actually be working? I mean, is it really possible that it will actually work? So I just put on my camera and I filmed this little sequence. So this is the first time I connected everything. It's still running my old power, as you can see here. And there's the D-sub connector, goes into the IBM. This is still bird shit on it, and of course I connected power to this one as well, and then I just flicked the power button, and I already had put down the what do you call it, the 4080 column, and then there was nothing. So I thought, oh, well, yeah. And I basically just fiddled with these things, and you can see the crazy, retarded happiness of my finger. But this is the first time I saw an image on this monitor. Like 32 years later, thanks to the Commodore 128. So of course there's a lot of bird shit there. I'm trying to type something. But this is like the first video, so I guess it says Stone Oak Valley or something. I don't know what it says. Yeah, there it is. So of course I just used a shitty camera to record this, but this is truly the Matrix monitor. I mean, this is like, this would be really nice to have like a Matrix screensaver on. You never know, maybe Neo will call us. So after this successful test and just retarded happiness, as you can see in this video, I basically went over and cleaned it up. So this is now how it looks. It looks really smooth and nice. And yeah, there are no cracks or anything, and I have to mark these screws so I knew which one I would remove if I need to get inside it. And this is the old D-sub connector, which is really corroded and rusty or whatever. So I replaced that with a new connector. So it was all shiny and happy again. And then I did a new test. And this time I had connected a SD2 IEC device to it, so I can load some, at least load something from the serial. That was the new connector I was talking about. So this is now connected to the Commodore 64 power supply, and this is the new D-sub that I made. Just the casing anyway, metal shielding. And yeah, of course it still works, and I could just turn it on again. And yeah, so of course I'm using a bad camera here, but I'm trying to make it a little bit more sharper maybe. This was just filmed very quickly after I cleaned up the monitor and fixed some other stuff on it. Yeah, so basically now I'm trying to load from the the SD2 IEC device. Again, confirming with a extremely blurry camera. It's IBM 5151. So yes, this truly works. Commodore 128 and IBM 5151. You can see some lines there. I guess I could go inside and tweak the the potentiometers inside the monitor. There are a couple of these. Yeah, I forgot what they are called, but you know, you adjust the not the degauss, but you adjust some parameters, and this is the button I need to click down to enable this monitor. Because if this one is up, it will boot into just a composite signal over there. And when I shut it down, it looks like this. Oh yeah, it's the lightning from the Matrix. Yeah, but that's pretty much what I had to talk about. I have some more pictures of my Commodore 128, so this is how it looks inside. And this is how, yeah, the motherboard. And there are some details around the power modification that I did, which has now been removed. And yeah, this, I guess this is the board number or something. Yeah, just a picture of the random connectors inside it. Yeah, and that was it. That was the little video. I wanted to show that you can actually use Commodore 128 with the 4080 column button click down, and also this IBM 5151. And it just boots straight up and looks really cool. So, yeah, that was it. Bye-bye.